going back to the video! Yes, this is on the same day as the video I had just posted today. Now, yes, it's another series, but I felt like doing this, and after this I'm planning to go to the Arthur series, make part 2 to that, then make part 2 to the one I just posted, make part 2 to this, and go through the cycle until I'm done with these 3. Hopefully that's what I end up doing. But yeah. Although, this week, or maybe the very beginning of next week, I will be making, part 2 to what if, Rose and I were in Fairy Tale. So, yeah. With all that out the way, it's time to start the video.
I think I'm losing my mind, trying to stay inside the lines. It's like you're running in place, yeah. How you keep staying the same, yeah. But baby, I guess I'm something different, and I'm okay with that. I can't fake no more smiles, that shit gon' drive me mad. I'm focused on the future, don't care about nothing else. I'm better by myself, I'm better by myself.
Also, I don't know why there was an echo in my last video. I'm sorry, I currently can't do anything about that. But, I also want to give a shout out to It's Richie W. If you're not already subscribed to him, please go and do that. For Deku's quirk, I got it from him. And there's another YouTuber, I can't remember his name, that did what if Deku could use 100% of his brain. Now, I'm kind of mixing the two, so yeah, this is really just a mix of my imagination. Oh, don't want that to happen. So I'm gonna pause real quick and find where I wrote down this man's abilities. Okay, now, in this, Hizashi doesn't really basically abandon Izuku. This time they're actually getting, like, feasible funds that we can easily see, you could say. So, in this, Deku is sent to private school. Now, he was friends with Bakugo until he realized how Bakugo, well, really was. After all, your quirk is basically part of your mental state. Quirk goes missing, so is part of your mental state. Or, well, your memories could go, you could go mentally insane. There's a lot of things that could happen. But yeah, now, they had gotten Izuku's test, found out, and he realizes that, well, they find out he does have a quirk. His quirk allows him to make lunar light in a shadow, control gravity in a shadow, but not to extreme measures. Just like, basically manipulating the polarity of where the Earth's gravitational pull would be. So if he makes it 10 feet up higher, you go 10 feet up. Left, right, yeah. In his shadow, your quirk will be weakened by 10 times. And he does have slight manipulation of his shadow. Basically, you can make his shadow into a room. Not a really big one, but a room. So yeah. Now, Izuku would go to private school. Now, he had always been, well, some people would try to bully him for his eyes being different colors. But every time they try, Izuku would simply kick their butt, to say the least. They'd flip him, and, well, when they try using their quirks on him, he'd activate his. Now, currently, it's only a 2 times weakener, but yeah. Now, but because their quirks had just manifested, it basically had stopped theirs, or it was so small that they couldn't really tell. So, Naruto then. Deku then just fought them hand to hand and won. Now, he got to his class, he introduced himself to his classmates as says, "Hello, my name is Izuku Midoriya. I have a quirk named Blood Moon. It's a slight mutation from my mother and father's, and well, I was born on a blood moon enhancing my quirk. Okay, I'm gonna explain how this will work. Now, Izuku in this, his mother will have a lunar slash moon quirk, and his dad will have a blood quirk. It doesn't really matter what type, but yeah. Now, his quirk, he'd be able to make like little things of lunar light and basically make things lighter with his gravity manipulation and shadow. Uh, and quirks wouldn't be weakened at all. And with a slight shadow manipulation, it would extend by like a centimeter at most. But since he was born on a blood moon, his quirk got amplified. So I'm gonna say quirks get amplified if you're born on a blood moon, but your quirk has to do something with the moon. And since his was a blood moon, literally his quirk had to do with blood moon. Yeah. Now, how? What's the drawback to his quirk? You might ask. Simple. His blood will start to boil. Yeah. The more you use it, the faster his blood will boil. Or not really faster. The more his blood will start to boil until it does, and he busts like a capillarity or something. I'm not sure how to say it. It's basically like small blood vessels, which if you have a strawberry mark, that's basically what you have. So yeah, trust me, I know I have a strawberry mark, but we're not gonna get into that. Okay. Now he'd see somebody reading in the corner of the room all alone. No one was near. Now this would be. I'm gonna get so much for this. Female Psyche K. Yep. Uh. So I'm gonna say this right now. If you don't want a ship to be female Psyche K, click off this video. Just click off. Cause yeah, that's the ship. Now, as we go this time, cause I'm just gonna say humans only use like 10% of their brain. Uh. So he currently has access to 20% of his brain. Now, he would start to walk over to where female Psyche K is, as Ida being Ida would stop him, and Momo, and I'm gonna say is Marva is a worse person. This one. Now, they'd introduce themselves. Ida's still doing his hand chop motion, as Deku would point that out and ask why. That's I don't whatever he Ida would give some weird explanation, as Naruto as Deku would take it. Now, Momo says the bit. Momo explains her quirk and says, "Hey, do you want to be friends?" As Izuku says, "Sure." Ash says, "Okay, but if we're gonna be friends, then you can't talk to that girl over there. She's weird. She's quirkless too." As Izuku would think, okay, if someone was born with if someone got their quirk removed, they're basically just quirkless too. Heck, I have an ability that's not even a quirk. Uh, as he says, people like you are disgusting. As this took him off guard. No. Momo off guard as Momo would try to punch in the face as simply uh, Deku would go under a punch, dodge, and then he'd be behind her as then he simply chopped her on the neck. He would try to use his engine as then is it well, seeing how Ito is technically in a shadow, because his quirk is stronger in the night, a lot. Because if it was night, he would be able to stop the kid's quirk 4 times. So basically, if it's like if it's dead of night, then the Zuku's quirk weakener becomes 20 times. So yeah. Now Ito would try to use his quirk. Now it'd be a very small one, like he'd be a little bit above average, but because of Izuku's quirk, he would just be at normal speed as Izuku would simply sweep the leg and kick him straight down. As he'd sigh and say, "This isn't what I wanted. Oh well." As he'd walk over to female Psyche K, as uh, they talk for a bit, but Deku realizes that Psyche never actually opened her mouth. Now, uh, Deku asks, "Is this her quirk?" As she says, "No, I'm quirkless. It's something else." As he says, "Actually, if it wasn't for my quirk, I'd basically be the same as you." As she asks what he means, as it's simple. I don't know what it is, but it's like I can use more. Hmm. So you know how our brain has like a limit. It's like I can use more than what that limit's supposed to allow. As this interest Psyche K, as then she get a flashback to in her past life, her older brother. Yeah, because Psyche K reincarnated. Yeah. Uh. Now. Uh. Deku would realize, oh yeah, she's spaced out. As he tried to get her attention to say, "Hey, you okay?" As she'd shake her head for first, and now she says, "I'm surprised you even noticed that I wasn't actually talking." Not many, actually, no one really does. No one actually questions it. As Deku says, "Huh, I guess I'm just observant." As they talk and they become really good friends. Now we're going to skip to Izuku being 10. Now keep in mind this was at the age of 4, he had 20% of his brain. So, I'm going to say that it increases based on half the serially. So, but I'm going to say he has 67% of his brain unlocked. Yeah, a lot. But when he. But we're going to have a flashback. Now, Izuku would invite Saki K over. Now, they'd still live in an apartment because they choose to, but this is a very, very nice apartment. Not saying that it wasn't a canon, but it's a bigger apartment, basically. Now, Izuku and Psyche would be playing video games as Izuku would have a headache, as you say. He asked if she would want any water, as she say yes, as Naruto would get himself a glass and take some ibuprofen. As right as he walks into the door and puts her glass down, uh, and he's about to put his on the dresser, as he simply faints. Now, Psyche would run to his mom and explain this to to her. Now, she'd rush him to the doctor's office. Doctor would explain that they don't understand why. It's not a disease. It's not anything on his body or even in it. We've checked. And nor is this his quirk. It's like it's something else. But we don't know what it could possibly be. Now, Inko would start to go into a light depression. Now, this is skinny Inko. Yeah, it ain't small, floofy Inko, you could say. So yeah. Now, around 3 months later, Izuku wakes up as he hears all these voices in his head. They're repeating and repeating, and he can't get them out. As Izuku starts to go insane, he can't handle it. It's like there was 1,000 people just talking in his voice and they in his mind, and they wouldn't stop, no matter what he did. As Izuku would sort of not pull out his hair, but he would start to go insane as we see him on the windowsill, so crying, his eyes shaking as he's starting to drop. As in, there's a doctor that stops Izuku. Now, he had a very light air manipulation quirk, along with his second quirk being. Do you want to give him correction? Reversal. Temporary reversing whatever like mental or physical state someone is in. Now, he wanted to be a hero, but they told him no. His quirk wasn't good. His quirks weren't good enough. So he decided to be a doctor. Now, he was able to reverse the mental damage on Izuku, as he'd get Izuku to calm down. As he explained what's going on. Now, Izuku says, "There's so many people. There's a girl screaming. Uh, people getting shot. There's guns. Uh, people asking for help. People being crushed. Screams." As he keeps on going on, as the man realizes, holy sh! There's a lot of things happening right now, or in his mind, he thinks. As then Izuku says, "There's a couple good things, like families being together, and as he hears, is that mom?" As he hears mom's voice saying, "Izuku, please come, Izuku, please be fine. Izuku, please be fine." As Saiki is also there, as she's singing, "He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine. He'll be fine." It's like she's trying to convince herself. Now, they'd go up, and right on cue, they'd enter the door. Now, the doctor would realize this boy is able to hear voices of others. As he'd be sitting, as Inko would be crying, as so would Saiki, as before Inko can do jack. Yeah, Saiki's already giving him a hug. Like, she moved at speeds that, if it wasn't my hero, would break the sound barrier times a million. So yeah. Now, this would happen as Izuku would give her a hug. As another fun fact, Izuku had a crush on Saiki. So did Saiki. Now, his mother would give him a hug too, as they drove back because they gave them permission to take Izuku home. Now, Izuku was happy about this, and he asked when does he have to start attending school again. As she says, in 3 weeks. Actually, no, in 1 month, 4 weeks. 1 month equals 4 weeks. That's how long he has. As says, "Okay, mom." As one of the days that him and Saiki are on the playground, not playground. One of the days when they're walking around, and they just had done playing a sport, like basketball. So why not? And Izuku simply asked her out. Now, Psyche would be smiling and say yes. Now, they'd be dating. So never a time skip to, and Izuku would be back. As. Sorry. There'd be a couple rumors about the reason Izuku's not there is because Psyche killed him, or because a villain, attacked him, or being that he moved. There was a lot, and they were all created by none other than Momo Yarozu. Yep. All by her. Yep. Now, Ezekiel would come back, and everyone would ask which one of the rooms are true. Ezekiel would simply say none of them. He simply just passed out one day, woke up in the hospital. It was explained what's going on, and a couple of other things happened that you don't really need to know about. But no, none of this happened. As maybe like, oh come on, Ezekiel, you don't have to lie to them for me. As Ezekiel would turn and say, why would I do that? After all, you're annoying. You're a bully. You talk behind people's backs. You make lies all the time. Why would I ever? As Momo would be like, what do you mean? As Izuku just exposed her. Like, Izuku really did just expose that she really is. So yeah. Now, there'd be these three kids trying to arrest Psyche, as Izuku would simply go over to them and say, excuse me, I have to ask you to stop. As I say, and what are you going to do about it? I bet you can even throw punch. You've been in the hospital for so long, after all. Heck, she's probably the reason you were. So why are you trying to defend her? As you see Izuku's face go serious, I say, I'll ask you one more time. Leave her alone. Psyche's a very calm person. She won't really do anything if someone's bullying her, but someone tries to bully someone she cares about, let's just say you're going to be in the hospital. Because Psyche will lose it. And only a couple people have been able to calm her down. Her mother, nah, skip that. Actually, yeah, she has a new mother. I'm going to say that. So her mother, Izuku, and Inko. Now, they try to fight Deku, as Deku would simply say, blood field. Now, what this does is it makes a temporary blood moon. Now, this makes his blood boil twice as fast. As you'd say, you can't strike what you can't see, can you? As looks like for them, everything goes black. Now, they're getting hit all across the wall. As right as one of the guys is about to land, Izuku knees him in the gut. And as another one's about to, Izuku throws the kid he just kneed into the gut at the kid that's about to fall. As right as he's about to punch the third guy in the stomach, he's stopped. He can't move, as he knows who did this. As he sighs and says, fine, as she lets go, as he then grabs the kid by the hair and says, I'm going to let you off with this one warning. Do that again, and there won't be any mercy for you. As then Izuku throws him. Now, Psyche would get a little bit of a pouty face. Says, oh, come on. How she'd sigh and she'd start to read his book. She's about to read a book, as then it's like Izuku vanished. Because, hey, you can't stop, but you can't see. And I'm going to say Izuku is able to temporarily slip out of her her locator thing. So when she went to sit on her chair, she realized that there's someone else. Now she would try to stand up as then the chair would scoot forward. As she started to get angry, as Suzuki said, "Don't worry, calm down." As she realized it's Suzuki. It's the one that she has to be really worried about. As she calmed down and they do their work, bouncing ideas for how to do math, language arts, social studies, all that. Bouncing ideas off of how to remember it, how to possibly make it easier for others if they ever end up teaching somebody or helping somebody with learning. Teachers got mad all the times, but Zuko don't care. Zuko was kind of thinking like, I mean, if you got an issue with it, you can fight me, but you're too scared to fight me. Do your job and leave me the hell alone. As they start to ignore him, but he's perfectly fine with this. They'd act like they didn't have enough copies. Izuku would have a copy. Well, actually, they say, well, Izuku and Saiki would have a copy. They don't understand how, and they kind of think one of the students are helping. Now, this is something that they said was legal. It's not legal. They say, okay, kids, we got permission from the government to do this. You're allowed to try to spar with each other with your quirks, as secretly beforehand she told all the other kids that, yeah, you can completely go all out with your quirks. But she said that mainly to Saiki and Izuku. As Izuku, he'd be like, okay. So then Izuku realizes they all turned at him as, well, him and Saiki, as he realizes, he says, you bitch. As Saiki would raise him in the air, as Izuku would have a little needle, as he cut himself, well, he poked himself, right? Then he ripped it open a bit more, and then he let the blood drip onto the ground. As he learned he could do this, as he says, blood field. Now what this does is it thins his blood out to the maximum, right? To cover a mass, a very high radius. But it still has to be blood. If part of it separates, the whole thing breaks. Can you break it? Nope, because it basically has like the condensity water. So they move, it fills in the other one. So, yeah, and Izuku's still bleeding, so it's getting thicker and thicker as time goes on. You remember thinking, wouldn't he die? Well, that's the thing. His quirk has another ability that Izuku doesn't really know about, but didn't really think about it either. Simply, it's like he has an infinite blood supply. I didn't think things I was like, wait, shouldn't I be dead? Note to self. Maybe I don't die of blood loss, or maybe I just have a ton of blood. Huh. I'll make sure to remember that. Now, as he makes lunar light, manipulates its shadow, so now it's a massive area. Now, this does make the blood on the ground, like, literally start to boil, because that's currently a substitute. So, yeah, some of it's, like, going in the ear, as some of it's not. But he can control the blood in the air. It's like, well, to a degree, he can make a literal blood mist. As he'd say, gravity collapse. As they'd all be drawn to one point. Now, the ones that would have hit Izuku and Saiki, simply, for some reason, they went above him and her, and then hit their face in the ground and still got pulled in to the gravity, as they'd all be in a ball. As, keep in mind, some of them would try to use their quirks, some of them would try to use their creation, someone would try to use their explosion. This isn't Bakugo. It's a weaker Bakugo, basically, like a lot weaker. Either try to use his engines. They all try to use. Someone tried to use their water quirk. Another person tried to use their psychic quirk. There's be a lot of people trying to use their quirks to stop, but this makes a shadow through his blood. It's like a blood shadow ability. So their quirks are weakened, as they're basically being pushed more and more into the ball, as the Nezuko would stop. And then he just simply wait for his blood to boil, as it would as he turned into a mist. Now, you don't know there's basically no shadow in mist, but here's the thing. His quirk also works in mist, but differently. You see, he increased the weight of it. Say, for example, he was to make a sword out of it. He can increase the weight of it, or he can make the sword be blinding. Well, basically, equip lunar light with it. So yeah. Also, after he strikes you, your quirk will be weakened for around 10 well, I'll say half a minute. But for quirk strike, as always, yeah, if you don't stop this quirk before it hits you, there goes your quirk for 30 seconds. So, yeah, I know people are like, that's broken, that's really broken. I mean, it could be or it could not be. Together, yeah, the Psyche and Nezuko are very, very broken. Separate, there is a chance they could be if you think about it. Also, I'm pretty sure Psyche has aerokinesis, but whatever. Now, this would happen. Nezuko would report her to the government and the principal. She'd get fired. Students would get reprimanded. Nezuko and Psyche also would, as then they train with each other. Not using their quirks, but then they also use a bit of their quirks, you could say. And we're going to skip to the 10-month training. Now, Nezuko currently has 75% of his brain locked. Sorry, 77%. Now we're going to skip the 10 months because basically what they're doing was sparring with each other. No, Nezuko does not get one for all. And then some say Bakugo gets one for all. Actually, no. I'm going to say that. He offered it to Nezuko, as Nezuko said, don't give the quirk to me. Think about it this way. Don't try to make the strong stronger. Try to empower the weak, so that they can protect the people that they used to be. As he think about it as he agreed, as he'd give it to Kaminari. Yep. So now Kaminari, it'll take a lot more bullets for him to go brain dead. Along with the fact he's able to control his lightning a little bit more. And with that, I'm going to be ending off the video. So yeah. Not UA exams yet. You guys are going to see what happens in the next part. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This is me. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Leave a like in the video. Turn the bell notifications on. To keep up with my contents. As I said, leave the like. But leave the like to support this series. Please leave a comment for ideas, ways to better improve. And even if you just want to talk about your day-to-day problems, I'm always here to listen to you guys. And someone said, do part 2 to What If Bell Was Experimented. I think I already have, but if I haven't, I'm gonna try. I can't promise anything, though. But yeah. With all that way, so I said, Gia signing out. Goodbye. I'll see y'all later. And it's time to roll this outro.
Yeah.